Uh, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's Pardon the Disruption. I am your host, Matthew Potter. And if our pregame alludes to what the show is going to be today, y'all are in for a treat. I am your short sale guy, hedge fund connection, and co-founder of The Family Tree over at Real Broker. If I can help you grow your business, reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. For everybody that is new, thank you for tuning in and, giving us a whirl on a Thursday and for showing up on time. Thank you, Daylight Savings. We appreciate you. How we do things around here, we have 4 esteemed panelists. They get 45 seconds to answer one of 5 pre-selected questions, then 2 minutes to chop it up. Points will be awarded on favoritism. It's just the way that it's going to be. I'm sorry, guys. And then ultimately we have a 6th question that comes from our audience. So go ahead and jump into our YouTube chat on @Pardon the Disruption. Make sure that you are subscribed so you can go ahead and drop your question there. And we will go ahead and get it answered. We're going to start out with intros today. Starting out, Fresno State's most famous alum, we have Stratton Brown. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, guys. My name is Stratton Brown, a.k.a. Strat Daddy. I own a company called Virtual Help. We buy storage facilities, and we do wholesale a little bit here and there. And my goal today is to see if I can plug my companies more than Robert Wensley did last week. I think I got a serious push, but I think I'm going to hit it. Watch. I will plug my companies if you want to invest with us. If you need VAs, if you want to send me deals, you will know you can come to Strat Daddy.
Wow. I told you guys are in for a treat today. All right, next up, we have Mr. Disruptor himself, Steve Trang. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I feel bad that Robert's not here to defend himself, but I guess just it's his fault. It goes to show you got to show up when people reach out to you. So, Steve Trang, Real Estate Disruptors. I'm working with a couple of guys down in Carolina that got something interesting. We alluded to last week. We're going to be doing a big push on Black Friday, so you'll want to make sure you pay attention. We're going to talk about it, promote it. Black Friday, I think it's going to change the game. And then, we're going to have to figure out this show how to promote ourselves more. So thank you, Stratton, for the motivation.
AKA Mr. Pfizer. Sorry, you forgot to throw that in there, but Steve Trang is Mr. Pfizer.
Absolutely. Don't forget your affiliate code, Pfizer.
He is on his 6th booster.
Next up, the smartest man in the room, regardless of the room that he is in. We have Leon. Do not forget the G Barnes. Go ahead and introduce yourself, boss.
Man, what a way to welcome me back. The smartest guy in the room. Matt, thank you. I don't know how much I owe you, but just tell me. The G today stands for OG. Apparently, looking at this group today, a lot of new faces, excited to mix it up with Raphael and Strat Daddy over there, who's going to be promoting everything. So we'll make sure we keep account of that for him. Director of membership for the Collective Genius. And it's been a couple of weeks. I am excited to chop it up with you guys.
We are excited to have you back. It is always good to have intelligent banter on this show. Last, certainly not least, with his PTD premier, we have Rafael Cortez, a budding wholesaler here in Phoenix, Arizona. Go ahead and say hi to the people. Introduce yourself.
Bam, what's up? Thank you for the invite. I'm excited to be here. So I'm a real estate wholesaler here in town. I'm also a real estate coach. I'm going to try to plug in my businesses as much as Strat Daddy, maybe one more. So I'll do that as I go along. I'm also an organizational psychologist, so I do a lot of business and systems and processes development. So between that, I mean, we're doing a lot of buy and hold. We're doing a couple of different markets. We're in Tampa, Texas, Vegas, and I mean, the company's growing. So yeah, pretty excited to be here. Let's get it.
Quite possibly the sexiest man in Phoenix. I'll just throw that out there.
That's for sure.
Apparently, Stratton is not aware that I reside in Phoenix as well. So -1 point for Stratton there. Sorry. It is what it is.
He does have the beard.
All right. We're going to go ahead and start it off with question number 1. Would you rather be given $1 million or have 10 carries in an NFL game to gain 5 yards for $10 million? Start us off, Strat.
First off, I will say you guys should all take the $1 million. That is just my professional opinion. Everyone here should take the $1 million. But I would rather, if I can choose my offensive line, if I have the Eagles' offensive line and I can train for 6 months, I'm taking the bet for the $10 million. Bet 100%. I'm doing it. I'm 28. I've recovered from when Steve broke my ankle in January. I'm feeling good. You know, I've been hooping a lot. I've been training a lot. I think I can get 5 yards. I got that. And if I can go against the Bears defense, I for sure got 10 in me. But yeah.
I thought you were like 40, bro.
There we go, and it begins. All right. I'll be real. I didn't know you're 28 either. That's fantastic. So it's nice that you already have ankle issues before 30. That's just get it out of the way.
Fantastic that I have just a trash body before I'm even 30, bro.
That's the way to do it, man. It's only uphill from here. All right, Steve. What about you? What are your thoughts?
So I do agree Stratton is the most qualified person to speak on this. However, I would also like to point out that Stratton broke his ankle playing basketball with a bunch of Mormons on a Wednesday morning, right? So he had to get carried out of the gym.
What is my explosiveness like, Steve? You've seen my explosiveness. I still got it, bro.
So here's the thing: between
apparently it's ankle busting.
$1 million up front or 10 carries in an NFL game to gain 5 yards for $10 million. I picked the latter, right? I'm going to bet on myself. Now, here's the thing, though. I want to pick the offensive line that Emmitt Smith had, right? That Cowboys offensive line, he wasn't getting touched for the first 3.5 yards. Now, I readily accept I might not make more than 1 carry. So I have to give it all on that 1 carry, right? But like Stratton, if I can practice, get in shape, get conditioned, maybe builds additional, calluses for my shoulders, whatever. I think if I can have the Cowboys offensive line in the late 90s, I'm feeling hopeful.
All right. I agree with that. And I also love the fact that Stratton, there's more to the story about, the crossover conversion of how he lost the ankle there. I love that. That's awesome. All right. Next up, Leon,
lower back's next.
Which route are we going here?
So glad that 2 weeks I was away. These questions have just continue to get smarter and smarter. Wow. I guess if I had to choose, I am taking the route of being a running back, trying to get those 5 yards. And I don't want a caveat of the Cowboys line. I don't need it. This is like putting a dog behind me and asking me to run a 100-yard dash. I'm going to run a 10 flat if you put a barking dog behind me. So you put $10 million in front of me, I'm going to find a way in 10 carries to get 5 yards. In fact, you put 50 yards in front of me, I'm going to find a way to get that money. And then rather than just taking $1 million and that's it, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to springboard it into something else, because now I'm famous. This guy came off the street and ran for 50 yards on 1 carry. Now I can take that money and turn it into something else. So I'm all day. Give me the yardage for sure.
It's like the guy back in
offensive line.
It's like the guy back in the 90s that hit the 3/4 what was it? Shot at the Bulls game for $1 million. That's Leon right there. All day.
I'm Usain Bolt. You put a German Shepherd behind me, my friend.
All right. Next up, Raphael. What are you doing? Which way are you going?
You all sound really, really sexy, but everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, especially by a linebacker. So I would stick with the stuff that I understand. I take the mill and deploy that. I don't know a lot about football. I know I could probably run. I couldn't run through a defensive line. So yeah, I'm gonna be the boring answer on this one, and I'd probably go for the mill because I'm pretty sure I know how to flip that and turn it into 10, 15, 20 going forward. So
smart answer.
There we go.
I if there's anyone I would bet against, it'd be Leon, right? And here's why. There's no running backs taller than 6 feet. It's just
how tall is Leon? How tall is Leon?
I'm 6'4", but Derrick Henry.
Jesus, Leon, you look pretty thin too, man. That's
I'm Derrick Henry, man, without the muscle.
You're dead. So look,
listen, I didn't want to say anything, but I gotta. I mean, I'm with Stratton Steve on this one.
Yeah,
So
I played.
sorry, Leon.
I had a chance to play in a basketball league with Terrell Suggs, right? Because Terrell is a guy that came up in Phoenix, and I still remember in our league game, I boxed him out, right? I was like, ball goes up, we're playing zone, find a body, put your butt on him, right? I box him out, and he gave me this little swim move. It wasn't violent; it was just a tap, and I flew 4 feet. So these guys are superhuman. I get that. I just need one chance, right, with the Cowboys' offensive line.
One chance.
Just one chance.
One moment.
Dude, it's like I was gonna say,
Moss
are
spaghetti.
we gonna go full 8 Mile here? Because I feel like that's like Steve's like mantra
Palms are sweaty.
right now. Ooh, hate when that happens. All right, on this round, just because it was absolutely hilarious, the brutality of his answer, point goes to Mr. 2 Weeks, Leon G. Barnes on this one. Congratulations, boss.
I'll take it.
We look forward to the 50-yard dash provided by our 6'4" running back over there.
120-pound, 6'4", 50-year-old man. Off the street.
The image is amazing. Like, let's just get it in our head. The image is amazing. We love it.
So
He's
So
committed
Listen,
to rap on the
Stratton,
field.
apparently his ankles still work.
next time we do this show live, I'm showing up in a football uniform. How about
Let's
that?
go.
Steve?
Yeah. We will do 50-yard dashes in the parking lot. All right. Question number 2. Recently, Rockstar Games has announced that next month they are revealing their next Grand Theft Auto installment, GTA 6. Almost 10 years since their last game. Like GTA 6, what is the longest amount of time it is taking you to close a transaction? Oh, this should be fun. All right. Start us off, Leon.
So this is actually timely for me. It's we just closed the transaction that we started working on 4 years ago, and I've been in this seat with CG for 5 years. I've had my business, started buying rentals 10 years ago, and I talked to somebody in 2015, so 2018, excuse me. So it's almost been 5 years since we started with talking to an investor and bringing them into our community. So ironically, in the last couple of weeks, I've been talking to sellers getting through very hairy probate, multiple error situations. And I've heard stories from people in our community that have been 10, 15 years in some cases. But for me, just under 5 years on bringing a member into this group, as well as closing a deal with a seller 4.5 years from the date that we put it under contract.
Man,
Wow.
Those are rookie numbers, bro. We got to pump those up. We got to get decades in there. Come on now. You got to put serious work in there, Leon.
I'm not as old as Steve, man. I'm only in my 40s.
All right. Next up, Rafael, what about you, man?
It's not going to be in the years even. I think the longest deal that we've actually been under contract and transacted through it, probate, issues, again, same scenario. It's about 8-9 months. So it's, the when it comes to follow up, that's years in the making, right? Once the lead comes in and we followed up, with people and closed them after 4 years and whatnot. But once the contract is in play, it's taken us about, I think, 8 and 9 months on a probate deal that took us a while to close. So yeah, it's not as radical as Leon's.
Yeah.
I must say. Yeah.
Leon's over here in long-term relationships with his leads. So
Oh yeah,
that's nice.
Buy some birthday cakes and everything. So
Not me. That's delegation, my friend. Delegation.
He's like, happy anniversary. It's been 2 years. You ready yet?
it's our silver wedding.
Oh man, that's great. All right, Stratton, what about you? How long is it taking you on your longest transaction?
9 months, but Leon is older than I am, and I think he's been in the business longer than I've been alive. Same with Steve, same with Cortez. So it's not quite fair to compare that shit. But mine was 9 months, and the reason it took so long is because my dumb ass was like, "Hey, we will help you find a house to move into," and so we were under contract this entire time, taking them to open houses, helping them move out, everything else, and it took 9 months to find them a place to go to. And that's the only reason it went that long. We haven't had any super long probates like that, though.
Wait, you mean you were trying to find the or find the seller's problem and help him with it?
I was trying to actually do my job, I was trying to actually do my job, and it took 9
Don't
months.
stroke his ego. His ego's big enough.
Yeah, that was sarcasm, Strat. That was sarcasm.
I think I need like a sarcasm meter over here.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
All right.
mine isn't very long.
All right, Steve. What about you? Longest transaction to close?
Somewhere between probably a year and a half and 2 years. And if things go the way I think they're going to go, we're probably going to have a lot more of those transactions. So when we were doing short sales, when I was the short sale king years ago, I mean, I had a secret weapon, Matthew Potter behind the negotiated short sales, but on the front facing, I was the short sale king. When we were doing a bunch, a year and a half was not out of the question on a short sale. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 2 to 3 years, we have a few more transactions that are going to take a year and a half to 2 years because they're upside down.
That's fair. I'm not mad at that.
So this is something really good for the audience to hear, no matter where you are in your business. This is something that, to Steve's point, you're going to see more of it. And what I've learned in my decades, as Stratton is apparently telling me that I've been in this business.
Only 28 years.
Yeah. That I've learned that most people don't like this. They just don't have the patience to drip campaign, to stay in contact with individuals. Once it's, there's Medicare, or Medicaid, or multiple errors, one in jail, and, those type of hairy type of deals no one wants to touch. And why that, yes, if you have the patience, the follow-up is in the gold. There's a reason that's a saying. And what I've found is that there's only a few people. Steve knows this. We have over 350 members within the Collective Genius. I really know of one person that specializes in hairy title issue deals that sometimes takes years and years. One, and his nickname is Crazy, right? They call him the Crazy Uncle, right? But he is somebody's a go-to, and typically his deals. He makes, 6 figures on a lot of his deals because no one else has the patience to touch those. So if you want to find a niche to grow, you continue to grow your business and build relationships and get good at follow-up, there's a niche here that no one really wants to touch.
Real quick, I forgot to let you guys know, I own a company called Virtual Help, and we offer leads managers that'll handle all of that follow-up for anybody who's in the space. So like all of our clients who are the best, they stick on their follow-up with our leads managers. It's awesome. And then if you are interested in investing in real estate with us, just let me know. We're buying real estate all the time. So I
You should
you know
pitch
what we
your
can
lead
do?
manager service to RJ Bates. He loves leads managers.
We can also systemize that, Strat, through CEO Pulse and everything that we do.
Oh, it's very true.
I don't remember them paying the sponsorship fee. Did we collect a sponsorship fee for this?
I didn't see that one come through. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't see that as one of the sponsors today. I must have missed that memo.
I'm at
We're
2.
going to get kicked out of the
I'm at
broadcast
2.
to watch.
This is another thing that, and to your point earlier, Steve, when you were saying, something that, or someone said I'd been following up with this. I didn't do one follow-up. This is where you incentivize acquisitionists to continue on your team, whether virtual or in person. To Stratton's point, this is something that usually acquisitions people, salespeople in general, will double down on the things that they make the most commission from, right? So if you incentivize them, if a lead's gone cold over a certain amount of time and they can bring that in, this is another good way to make sure that those leads are getting followed up on, because they will, especially if a salesperson knows they're going to get incentivized for bringing that in.
Good point.
Very good point. As always, Leon is able to articulate what I think everybody else on the panel is trying to say. That being said, I went ahead and threw my hat in the ring in the YouTube chat there. 47 months, short sale in Florida. Offer number 33 is the one that closed. Proud of that. That being said, going to go with, not necessarily the short sale king over there. Maybe short sale like Prince. I don't know. Oh, we'll go with that.
We're going a different way.
Oh, hey, no, we ain't gonna do that. Anyways, points to Steve on that one. I think that we can all agree we're probably gonna see a little bit more longer transaction times in the current marketplace. Let's just be honest. Between probates and shorts and things like that, it's going to happen. All right. Question number 3. In the upcoming weeks, fast food chains in California will raise their menu items due to the state's minimum wage increase. What in real estate affects the prices of homes the most? Start us off, Steve.
First of all, I want to say I am offended that because costs go up, that these corporations are raising prices. It's ridiculous that they would ever think about these things. But after that, I would say probably interest rates. We know that people don't buy based off of pricing. They buy based off what they can afford, right? Whether it's car payments. There's a reason why car sales is all about payments, right? So with a house, you buy what you can afford, and what you can afford is most impacted by interest rates. So I think, inflation makes a difference in all this and that, but the most directly proportional, I think, is interest rates.
There you go. All right. Yeah, we can see it in the current market. All right. What about you, Leon?
I think interest rates affects the affordability of said house, but I think inventory is the biggest issue when it comes to price continuing to increase. At least that's what we saw over the last 4 years prior to the interest rate hikes last spring. So, we have seen inventory across the United States continue to be low, which has driven up prices, and interest rates were low. No one cared about the price of the home. They only cared about their monthly because they had a 3% loan. They could afford $1 million house when they should only probably be buying a $500,000 house, what have you, depending upon the market. So for me, first and foremost, it's inventory. In a close second is location. I can tell you, living in Tampa, a house on the water costs a little bit more than a house that's not. So inventory with a close second on location.
All right. Spoken like a real estate professional that's been in the game for at least as long as Stratton's been alive. All right, Raphael, what about you, man?
I'm gonna add a little bit on what Leon said, but I think it's supply and demand, right? So inventory is one thing, but if it's not moving, it's gonna impact some of that. And again, like supply and demand will create a feeling of scarcity if there's a lot of demand and the supply starts to diminish. So at that point, I mean, I've seen it. We've all seen it in the past where people just kind of plow through. Hey, listen, there's no inventory, there's no, but there's demand on stuff. I don't care. I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna date the rate right now and then maybe refinance it, and marry the date later. It's the general thinking though, and I think
realtors have disgusting terms.
The what?
These realtors have disgusting terms.
Listen, you didn't ask me about a strategy here. You asked me about what impact.
Like, just give me your money. I just need money. Just give me money.
Let the man finish. Yeah, but I think Strat Daddy.
Exactly. So and then it also creates a perception of value. I mean, location and all that matters, and it starts if you have high interest rates in areas that are where the demand is high, the supply is low, you're still going to have the mobility of the market. So I think that's the key right there.
All right. I mean, I don't know. You said my least favorite buzzwords of marry the rate and date the I don't know. Whatever it is, can't do it.
Backwards.
Can't do it exactly because it's literally backwards. It's that terrible.
Marry the property, date the rate.
Yeah, sure. Why not? All right, Stratton. What about you, man?
COVID controls all real estate prices, as we saw. That was my original answer. Mr. Pfizer will agree. But then I'm really going with supply and demand, right? And you can take this back. I think San Francisco retail and office space is selling at $150 a square foot. And 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it was at $650 a square foot, right? And that is 100% supply and demand. No one wants to be over there anymore. It's not safe anymore. And to give another example, me and my partner, Kyle, we're looking at a 91-unit portfolio in Susanville, California. This dude got in trouble for exchanging sexual favors for rent. No lie. And I was like, sir, who else wants to buy 91 units in this meth town with only a prison to employ people? Me. I am your only buyer. So that was the supply and demand of it all. But I think supply and demand is really a massive part of it, besides Mr. Pfizer's hands in the background just controlling everything.
When did bartering become illegal?
Jesus.
Hey,
That's not illegal.
Strat, if I wanted to invest in that deal, where would I click?
So if you do want to invest in that deal, my cell phone number is 801-860-8032. We have a minimum of an 8% pref. And we were buying this thing for 4.5 million. We think it's worth 11. So you're going to make a great return on your money, be secured by a great asset. It'll be awesome.
Man, I
He
hope
really
everything
went all
is
in.
fully disclosed with SEC.
Yeah. Where's our SEC?
Of all
Disclaimer.
things to get our show canceled, is when Stratton was pitching his fund.
Yeah.
Brad, I
got you.
think
But
you missed
talking about
one-
the water,
missed
right?
one
I had a
thing.
chance.
I think Steve.
I had a chance to go visit Leon's home, and when I was looking at when I was driving up to Leon's home, I was like, man, like these houses look really great. Like Leon's living in a really, really nice part of town. Babe, why don't you pull up and see what these houses are going for? And I realized it was entirely unaffordable. So good for you, Leon. Whatever you're doing over there is going really good.
Well, there's secrets. Not every house is purchased. Not every house is what it says it is. But yes, there's definitely, to Stratton's point of supply and demand, it's what I was talking about with inventory. But I think, Stratton, I think you missed one thing on that San Francisco example. So that is a supply and demand, but I think you're missing the fecal matter that's on the roads of San Francisco down in that particular area that's costing you $500 a square foot. I think it's beyond, it might be a fecal effect more so than a supply and demand.
Yeah. So while I agree that I think you guys are absolutely right. Supply and demand makes a big difference, but we see a lot with interest rates. Like if you look at when we have a person get qualified with a mortgage company, it's all about what can I afford, and that's the only thing they care about, right? They want to buy the best house that they can afford based off payments. So ideally, yeah, everyone would love to live on the water. Everyone would love to live in the best part of town. But really what dictates what they can buy is really the three things: is how much they make, how much debt service do they have, and what's the interest rate. And that's the only thing that affects the pricing for them. And COVID, with all this stimulation, with all the stimmy money, caused interest rates to go down, which is what caused all the housing prices to go up.
But the reason your answer sucks, Steve, is
Outstanding.
You're answering the wrong question.
The question is how houses affect the price of the home affected? That's the question, not what someone can afford. So it's affected by demand of homes, with inventory being low. With inventory high, costs go down, right?
Who said
That's
that
affecting
first?
the price of the house.
All I want to see now is Leon in pads and Ray Lewis on the other side. That's all I want to see right now.
There's one other thing that
we get
goes
a wham,
into
wham,
the
wham?
prices of real estate, and it's the inflation commissions of the agents. I got to throw that one in there.
No, you don't. No, we're not beating that dead horse. We're done with it. Like, nah, I'm out, bro. That ain't it. You want to know? You want to know what actually impacts it? It's these fix and flippers that are putting together all these white shaker cabinet properties and putting them back on the market, and they want top dollar. That's what's affecting it.
Ask realtors, they'll tell you it's wholesalers. Ask wholesalers, they'll tell you it's retail agents, right?
Absolutely. It's which one came first, the
It's all
chicken or
these-
the egg?
It's all these damn virtual assistant companies.
It is.
That's
Absolutely.
really what the problem
It
is.
is. Everything is just too efficient, you know?
It's all the
Everything's
funds.
too
It's all the
efficient.
funds.
At virtualhelp.io, they're helping so many companies just scale to the moon. It's crazy.
These sales trainers teaching everyone how to buy more houses. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Elias, send Stratton the invoice, please.
Cash App. All right. That was an interesting round. I like that. I like that we had it split here a little bit with interest rates, supply and demand. I see both sides of the argument. Obviously being the productive realtor that I am, I can see this and understand it. That being said, we're gonna go ahead and, from what I see, I'm gonna agree with Steve on this one. I'm sorry, I know Leon's gonna there we go. That's what I was waiting for.
That's a backwards Alabama handshake right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just
Anyways, there we go.
I'm
Point to
reward
Steve.
you.
I'm gonna award you
Please.
point for having an answer to the wrong question.
Pretty much.
Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get on to these words from our official sponsor, not our unofficial one over there, Strat Daddy. This is from one of our official sponsors. A lot of you might or might not know that apart from podcasting, wholesaling, and coming in third place routinely on PTD, Steve and Sales Disruptors teach and coach the country's top home buyers to buy houses at massive discounts. What that means is that Steve helps companies learn a sales process, meaning he teaches them what to say to homeowners to acquire properties at deep discounts with the Disruptors process. Earlier this year, Steve and Ian Ross launched a sales community so that everyone can gain the same training at a ridiculous discount of only $97 a month. What's even more exciting is that inside the community, you get all of you get all of Steve's courses, old and new, 3 coaching calls a week, resources, handouts, and access to Steve and Ian Ross for this great price, which in the past cost thousands of dollars. Simply put, sales is the surest skill to become financially free. If you're interested in joining their mission of creating 100 millionaires, go to salesdisruptor.com to become the next one. There we go.
Real quick.
No, you cannot.
I'm a product of Steve's sales training, and I paid the thousands of dollars. It's 100% worth it.
There we go, my guy.
There we go.
Thank you, Stratton.
You're still going to get hit with the Cash App for your promotion today. I'm just letting you know. All right.
I aborted the plug mission early on in the don't send me an invoice.
I was gonna say, dude, like, no, I got a tally going on over here. All right. Next up, Nike is suing New Balance and Skechers for patent infringement over their Flyknit technology, a stretchy woven fiber material. How would you react if one of your competitors sued you? Start us off, Steve.
Ecstatic. Absolutely love it. It means I'm doing something right. I'm not the best rule follower. If you guys listen to our podcast, this might be a shock. But I've received multiple cease and desist notices throughout my career, and I've been sued multiple times. That's the cost of doing business. That's the cost of putting yourself out there, right? So if I'm not getting sued, if I'm not being threatened legally, I'm not doing enough out there. I'm not taking enough action. I'm not doing enough activities. So for me, it's a badge of honor. I remember I was doing a direct mail campaign some time ago. And every time I got an angry letter, like, yes, awesome, right? Because what do I know? That my team printed the mail, went to the post office, paid for the postage, and the post office delivered the mail, right? I know for sure the mail got delivered. So for me, I love negative signals because it means they were being productive.
I can actually vouch for this. Like, he would call me and be like, yo, I'm getting sued. I'm like, fantastic. Congratulations. We'll send you a cake. All right, next up.
Silver anniversary cake.
Next up, Leon, what are your thoughts?
I wasn't expecting Steve to go all Jocko on us. I'm getting sued. Good. I wasn't expecting that.
The mail's been delivered.
Good. Sue me. Good. Hopefully that doesn't lead to more lawsuits there, Steve. You're getting it out there. I wouldn't love it. I don't love distractions. So to me, those are distractions. But I will agree with Steve on this is if you're an entrepreneur, take real estate out of it, but just an entrepreneur, you should expect that if you're doing the business, even if you're doing it the right way, you're following all the rules, that you should expect that at some point, it's par for the course for entrepreneurs to be sued frivolously or not, to be sued for something. It just comes with the territory. And if that is not something that you want to be a part of, then you should probably question whether you want to be an entrepreneur, and specifically a real estate entrepreneur, because there are just everything that we do is contractual. And with contracts come lawsuits. So buckle up because they're coming at some point.
Take that as a word of warning for everybody jumping in. Leon is not lying. It will happen.
Have been warned.
You have been. It's a little less Jocko and a little bit more, family. We appreciate that always, Leon. All right, Raphael, what about you, man?
Well, I don't get excited about getting sued. However, I think it does come with the territory. If you're loud enough about what you're doing, people are gonna, either mirror what you're doing and try to, push it in their own terms. And a lot of times, so like I've seen it become almost like a strategy, like a business strategy. Yeah. This is my top competitor. I'm gonna, beat them up. I'm gonna, slander. Shit, we're seeing that right now on some of the strategies that we're doing for lead generation, where there's cease and desist notices being sent out when we're doing absolutely nothing wrong. One thing that I do is we spend a lot of time before sitting down with attorneys and figuring out disclosures and paperwork and everything that we can possibly to prevent or mitigate any of that stuff. It's not preventable. It's really not. Like, somebody's going to find a loophole. Somebody's going to find a way to mess with you if they really want to. What that means is that you're being loud enough about what you're doing. And I mean, it's somehow, some way, like, I've never seen a successful person just go through it go through the journey, right? In such a peaceful way that they never, stir somebody else up, or lawsuits or notices or stuff like that. So it's just part of the nature. If you ask me, do I like it? No, because it does create distractions, but it's still, it's part of the beast, right? So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah.
Just write the check for the retainer and get back to work.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
Oh, and I will not shoot for the settlement. Like, when I've seen it in the past, I will not go for the settlement right out of the gate. It's at that point, man, it's not an ego battle. It's just a matter of principle. If I think there's no merit to it, it's like, I don't know. I don't back down from a fight. It's a stupid thing to do sometimes, but hey.
I feel that the 2 minutes afterwards is going to have a healthy discussion on this part. Like, this is great to bring to the table. All right, Stratton, what about you, man?
When I got my first big boy lawsuit of $500,000, the first thing my mentor said is never use the L word. The L word is lawyer. He was like, don't get fancy and throw it out, because all lawsuits are is distractions. They suck. Only the lawyers make money, and they're going to bleed you out till you die. For me, I am not excited if I get a lawsuit at all whatsoever. Steve says good. I'm like, yeah, we're making calls. Yeah, this went this way. This went that way. I hate them completely. If I get sued by my competitor, I'd be like, okay, what did we do wrong? Like, did I somehow miss it in some way or another? And then, just like you said, Potter, okay, call the attorney, pay the retainer, and then you just got to, like, move on and then step away, because it'll eat you alive internally, and you'll stress yourself out and everything else. It's nonsense. Keep it pushing. If you did do something wrong, that's your fault. You got to deal with your own consequences.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just add to that, right? Every time I've been sued, I was not in the wrong, right? I was in the right. So for me, it's a non-issue, because I know I did nothing wrong. On the cease and desist notices, maybe I was pushing the envelope. Maybe I was just figuring out how far you can go until you get your hand slapped, right? So on those cease and desist notices, I was just figuring out where the boundaries were. And the lawsuits, I did absolutely nothing wrong, and I've won every lawsuit. So for me, I'm not worried about the lawsuits.
Well, those were just taps on the shoulder before they punch you in the face. So the lawsuit didn't come because you stopped doing what you were not supposed to be doing, right? That
Right.
wasn't officially a lawsuit. So there's a differentiator between those two. I would say that to this question, out of the gates, it was talking about Nike and New Balance. What I would say in that particular case, not associated with what we do from a real estate perspective and entrepreneurs as a whole, that's actually a good thing for New Balance, because you've got the biggest shoe company in the world that is now coming after you. What does New Balance get out of that? They get some free publicity for their brand, and continuing that Nike now sees them, right, as a competitor, right? So those horrible grandpa and grandma shoes that New Balance that produces, they're now getting some extra pub for those shoes.
Oh, yeah. Like, for an example, you guys all know Crumble, right? The cookie company.
Yes.
They went on Good Morning America and announced that they're suing Dirty Dough. Dirty Dough sold out all of their franchises the next day.
I didn't even know Dirty Dough was a thing.
Like
All right, let's go buy some.
it's just another company that was a knockoff of them. They announced that they're suing them, and then they sold 150 franchises over like the following weeks.
The reason that I brought that up, and the same reason that Stratton brought that up, what you can deduct from some of these frivolous lawsuits at times that people are looking for attention. So to Steve's point, I don't want them. They're a distraction, but you can look at them as you are doing something at a high level that someone else is jealous at some point or some level themselves that they want to bring this on. But I would avoid them like the plague, to Stratton's point earlier, because, man, they are a massive distraction to what you're trying to accomplish. And everyone I know in real estate wants to continue to scale and grow. They just don't want to stay still. So they don't want distractions.
Yeah, and just to point out, with Raphael, he says he's a fighter. He seems cuddly on the camera. He is a boxer, and he does Muay Thai, and he does jiu-jitsu. Right? So just an FYI, if you ever see Raphael on the streets, like he seems kind of cuddly. Don't give me a hug. He will fight you to the death. And then Leon, we have a mutual colleague, right? He does somewhere around 15,000 wholesale deals a year, right? He has, I think, 3 or 4 attorneys on staff. He's not worried about being sued. He just has that issue addressed at all times.
But you also know, as you continue to grow, I worked in corporate for 11 years. I mean, we knew who are people going to sue? People with money or people without money? They're coming after people with money. No one's suing you if you're broke, that I know of, right? So they're coming after you.
More reasons to get sued.
You take them all to Steve. I don't want them.
I think that we could probably close this round up with, I think Biggie Smalls said it best: mo money, mo problems, mo lawsuits. That's just the way that it is over here. So I'm looking at this question, and I have to say, who actually answered the question? It was, how would you react if one of your competitors sued you? Leon's over here.
Why start now? Why start really deducting the question now?
Man, I don't feel special anymore. I was the only one with that.
Hey, don't worry. I got like 9 other sound effects over here. We're gonna get through all of them now. On this one, I'm gonna go with Jocko over there. Like, Jocko did it. He did. He answered the question. It's the first time in 6 months Steve has actually answered the question, and we're all, let's give him a round of applause for it.
What?
Yeah, including his last point that you gave him that he didn't answer right. You didn't have.
I'm seeing a strong bias here, especially. I mean, we have the sign right there, right behind.
Somebody's apparently suing Potter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, some people pay for advertising. Some other people pay for favors. So we know where you stand, Steve.
There we go. Hey, look. Dude, I tell everybody before the show. I tell everybody before the show starts. My Venmo's always open. Dude. It's always open. All right. Word from another sponsor. This episode is also sponsored by The Family Tree at Real Broker. If you are looking to make a change in your real estate business, check out therealfamilytree.com and schedule your collaboration call with us. We will help you grow your real estate business. All right, let's get into the next question, and hopefully all 4 of you will answer this one. I'm looking at you, Leon, as you're shaking your head at me. All right. Earlier this week, Google asked the European Union to make Apple's encryption and exclusive iMessage, the messaging feature for those that, are Android, available to third-party services. What type of information or resources should a real estate business be forced to disclose to its competitors? So kind of what we're looking for here is, what stuff should a business have to disclose? Start us off, Steve.
There's only one thing you should be required to disclose, and it's material facts, things that actually affect the property, right? If this is going to affect the value of the property, I think you should disclose that. But beyond that, I can't think of anything else, right? If this is a site with Motorola was dumping all its toxic water down the drains, right? You should disclose that. If there's an airport or a prison, just a half mile away, I think that should be disclosed. But beyond that, the only thing that I think that should be disclosed is really anything that affects the value of the property, because that's what the person buying may not be privy to. And, maybe that's one more vote for maybe buyer agents, but that's a whole different conversation.
Uh-oh, here we go. We are not bringing back last week. We're done with that. It's old. We're not living in the past. All right, Leon, what about you? Real estate business, what should you have to disclose?
So let's look at the question and make sure we break it down here for Potter. It says,
And answer it correctly, yes.
what should I be forced to disclose? Obviously, we have to disclose certain things, right? Those requirements we have to disclose. Outside of that, forced, man, I hate that word in the United States. I shouldn't be forced to do anything outside of the requirements that whatever association or legal state requirements are. Nothing, zero outside of that. Why would I provide anything? Now I can give as much as I potentially want, but forced to, nothing outside of what are the requirements.
Okay. All right. Thank you for answering the question, Leon. We appreciate it.
You made it an emphasis, so I had to come after you.
Hey, look, I'm just trying to help you be the best version of yourself, Leon.
Well,
That's what
I'm
here
here
for.
You're a giver. I appreciate it, Matt.
All right. What about you, Raphael? What are you forced to disclose?
I'm still thinking about that one. It's a good loaded question, and of course it's been addressed to competitors, right? Not necessarily the customer. So I think Steve is answering customer questions again, but we're still going to get to the point after this round is over. There
you go. You're back in the driver's seat, bro.
Yeah. With that being said, I feel like anything that should be forced as a disclosure is anything that creates a conflict of interest for the competitor. If there's a transaction going on between two parties and we knowingly know that this is going to create a conflict of interest, it should be disclosed in good faith to the other party. So anything that's material, that can be a material fact, right, for the transaction itself, but directly affecting the other company or the competitor, creating something like a conflict of interest. I mean, I think that's just a good human thing to do.
That's just being a good person, not even necessarily the competitor side. Yeah. All right, I dig it. That's a solid answer. All right, what about you, Stratton?
Man, I don't like the word forced either. I think like the material fact thing is one thing, but in business, your moat and the things that are unique about your business is all you really have to maintain your profit margins. Right. And so like I'm not trying to disclose I took it in a different way as far as like operating and everything else. Unless we're selling this house, hey, it has foundation issues. There's this and there's that. Besides that, and it's very obvious that those are the things, and we know them, we'll always let them know someone got murdered in the house. Besides that, any other things should never be disclosed. I don't think it's appropriate, and I think it starts messing with your livelihood. Like, real estate is the only business where everybody tells each other what they're doing inside of their business to help each other, if you think about it. No one else is ever disclosing. You aren't hearing Nike and Adidas sharing manufacturing things. They're not saying a word to each other. They're not disclosing anything.
They're literally suing each other.
Exactly.
They're waving hi to each other as they're walking by the sweatshops.
So to Raphael's point, this is, what are you forced to give to your competitors? Again, outside of any requirements that the state makes you put forth, why would anyone want to be forced to give their secret sauce away? I mean, you think KFC is going over to Popeyes to give them that seven special whatever the recipe is at KFC? No, they don't do that. That's their secret recipe. Now, as I said earlier, if I want to share something with a competitor in my marketplace so I can collaborate with them and build relationships, I have that right to be able to do that. But the word, Stratton and I are on the same page with that. I do not like that word force.
I do feel totally fine, though.
There's a big difference.
I feel totally fine forcing Raphael, though, to come over here and install his CRM in my service, though. I don't see any conflict of interest there.
Not at all. I do it any day of the week for you, man.
Especially if you can include your database with it of all the Phoenix clients with all the notes.
In my head, that sounds like a JV. So it's a win-win. Win-win through and through. So big difference, right, between collaborating like that and then, for example, sharing your IP. Anytime you're sharing your IP, of course, like you have, that's a secret sauce, your intellectual property. But I don't know. I've seen it in scenarios in the past where, something that's happening, I know they might create a conflict of interest, especially like I'm a real estate broker. So if I see another thing happening and then just creating a conflict of interest for that, for that other brokerage or that other business, it's just, I mean, it's not necessarily something that should be forced, but it's a professional courtesy. Like, hey, bro, you're gonna go off the ledge on that one. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
So Raphael wants to fight everybody, but he also wants to be nice to everybody. It's a really interesting dichotomy.
Yes.
We call that yin and yang.
He's nice to the people, nice to him.
What'd you call me, bro?
He's kicking he's kicking the mess out of his enemies. I like this.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. All right, so that was a solid round. Not gonna lie, Raphael, you absolutely nailed kind of what I had in my head with the almost like an affiliated business disclosure. Like we all have to do that. Like if we have affiliated business disclosures, or at least, us lowly agents on our side, we have to give those disclosures, fiduciary, a whole thing. So point to Raphael on that, even though he busted my chops and said I was going to give that point to Steve. So I don't know. Maybe that point still goes to Steve later in the show. I'm just going to make it up as I go.
I think the only reason I got the point is because I called you out on it. Maybe.
No, that's not why. Trust me, that's not why it happened.
I'm messing.
And we're out. All right. Next up, let's see. We have question number 6. All right. Highly touted rookie Victor, I'm going to butcher his last name because I always do, Wembanyama, had a show-out game against the Phoenix Suns, scoring 38 points. Like Victor's performance, how can a new real estate investor make themselves stand out in the real estate industry? All right. Start us off, Raphael.
Dude, I'm going to go with the old-fashioned response, which is bring value. If you want to stand out in the real estate industry, in any industry for that matter, right? You look for the tables that you can get into. You try to find a place and be as loud as you can about the value that you can bring. If that comes in the form of, elbow grease and in looking for deals, look at what your X factor is. Everybody has an X factor. I don't care how new you are in the game. Maybe you're really good at sales naturally, right? Somebody in a space, in any industry is going to be needing that type of service. So lead with that. Think about how can I fill in somebody else's needs as you're going through the process. If you want to stand out, that's do it. It's not by buying somebody coffee. It's not by calling somebody and then telling them, hey, can I pick your brain for 30 minutes? I'll buy you lunch. Like, people are busy, right? Lead with value. And I mean, honestly, I pay attention to people who come to me in that fashion. They have something that it's thoughtful. They've gone through their mind, through their process. They have been considerate about how busy people are, who, those who are already in business. And they kind of check the boxes, right, as they go through the process, and they're leading with value. So that's my 2 cents.
Love that. Yeah. And also absolutely love that you can get hit up for a cup of coffee every single day for the rest of your life if you really want to. All right, Stratton, what about you, man?
I got a real crazy concept for you.
Uh-oh.
Do what you say you are going to do when you come into the business, and you will stand out miraculously. And then on top of that, just communicate well with other people, and I promise you're going to stand out. Then if you really want to blow things up, post about what you did on social media. That is the recipe to blow yourself up. Do what you say you're going to do, communicate well, then post about what you did and show the world what you did. That is how you make yourself stand out in the new economy if you're going to come out and want to really stand out in real estate.
I like it.
I mean, I don't know. Sounds like a lot of work right there. Not sure how I feel about that. I think I'd rather dance to some TikToks. All right. I'm going to point at some signs. All right, Steve, what about you?
I think you got to do what Victor's done, is be remarkable. You got to do something that stands out. So, what comes to mind is our friend Robert last week, right, with InvestorLift. He did something that's remarkable, something that's different. Jamil Damji, right? He's done a couple of different things that are remarkable. One is the Keegley franchise, or Keegley, astro flipping, and also being the Blue Genie. Like everywhere I see him, I just always think of the Blue Genie, right? He's remarkable. Or Sean Terry, I think he was the loudest voice for the longest time, right? I don't think there were people podcasting in 2009, but Sean Terry, like he was remarkable. Like you could not go anywhere without knowing who Sean Terry
Flip
was.
to freedom.com.
So,
that's what Sean Terry voice.
You might want to do something like perhaps, disrupt real estate. I think if that's what you want to do. So be remarkable.
Love it.
There we go. All right. Getting deep on question 6. I like it. All right, Leon, what about you?
I think Steve gave you a recipe on how to be Victor, rookie of the year, game-changing type of player in the real estate space. But I don't think that everyone has to be remarkable to bring value and make themselves stand out in real estate investing. I think there are levels to this. Steve gave you level 100. But if you're trying to go from 0 to 1 to stand out, I think it's a great combination of everyone's answer here. I think you absolutely have to bring value. I think of Jason Lewis in Salt Lake City, one of the most profitable business owners, one of the smartest business owners in this space that I know. He went to work for free for a real estate investor for a long time. I don't remember the exact time frame, but he went to work for free for a successful real estate investor because he wanted to learn the industry and worked for free for a very long time and then worked his way up into a point where he became an entrepreneur. There's tons of things that you can do. I was a broadcast journalism major. I spent 2 years interning for free. I didn't make a dime, but was available to bring the value and continue to ask questions to get better at this. And to Stratton's point, I have seen social media really become a game changer in people that are new to the industry to become experts in a very short amount of time without bringing a lot of value, quite frankly, but on social media, just being active with the things that they're doing on a daily basis, and in a very short amount of time have made themselves stand out, and not doing a lot of transactions, just doing a lot of self-promotion.
Show me the HUDs.
So Stratton was talking about communicating and respond and being responsive. I think I understand now why realtors are such a hot button for Stratton.
Oh, it grinds my gears when they don't pick up their phone and I want to buy something. You only have one way of making money. I want to give you my money. Just pick up the phone.
Send me a text, bro.
You are not worthy, Strat Daddy.
I think people undervalue the opportunity that is available to them in every single market by just going to every single meetup. If you want to get into this industry, just go and meet all the people that are doing the business, even if they're doing it at, they've only been in it for a couple of years. There's value that you can have, but you also have to understand that you may not make a lot of money out of the gates. But man, the exchange of information for not making money, you'll far outweigh what you're not making today for what you'll make in the future with that knowledge.
I got one other thing to add, and I think it's take massive action, because you got all these people who say like, hey, yeah, let me go get you coffee and everything else. I would do coffee every day if the person who I talked to took it and implemented it. I think we all would. Like, hey, yeah, go do this, take action, go implement it, and then come back when you have another problem. Because as soon as you take action, there's going to be a new problem for you to solve. And I'm here for you.
I
You know
thought
what, dude?
Stratton was
You're
asking
making
us to bring him a larger cup of coffee. It's like, if you want to buy me coffee, you got to take massive action. Buy me a super gulp of coffee.
There you go.
Yeah, you make a great point. I used to do that a lot, and I did it for years, where I would sit down and give an hour, 2 hours of my time trying to just help people and kind of guide them through the process of whatever I was doing. Right, I would get questions on things, and those sit downs would be great. It would, like, people would be almost in this euphoric state and get super excited and walk away and not do a damn thing. With the information, the time, and the energy, right, that we spent. So So it's a really, really good point. I got skeptic about doing that. It's not that I never did it, but I really became a skeptic because I would see people drain my energy, drain my time. I'm sacrificing, family time, business time, and all that stuff, and they wouldn't deploy, they wouldn't take action, and I mean it's a really, really, really big point. So yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, do what you say you're going to do. Something along those lines. It's a great point.
Yeah, it's that Friday energy. If everybody could just bottle that Friday energy, 3 to 5 p.m., they're getting ready to go into the weekend. That's where that's at. But then nobody does anything on the weekend. I am a firm believer of do what you say you are going to do. So Mr. Self-Promotion over there is going to go ahead and get himself on the board. He's not going to get a goose egg. Hey, dude,
on the board. Shout out Virtual Help.
There it is. Uh-oh. you know what? Just for that, we'll throw you on the board again. There you go. Awesome.
I want to make an observation though. He did do what he said he was going to do. I mean, self-promotion the entire.
He did.
No,
and I committed to it.
You're a walking example. I committed to it.
I said I was going to do it. Here
excellence.
I am.
This reminds me of a prior PTD episode where RJ Bates said every one of his answers was somehow going to incorporate Ryan Pineda, and he did. And I mean, dude, he just absolutely crushed it through the whole episode.
He did Culver Olympic champion for like a whole month.
RJ is going to be talking about that in the retirement home, bro. He's going to be like, I was 3-time Closers Olympics champion.
Come here, sit on here on Grandpa's lap. Let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
Let me tell you
over there.
Let me tell you about hockey and belts.
I used to be able to close anybody. I tell you what.
Oh man. Shout out to RJ Bates right now. We love you, RJ. We really do, man. We do. All right. So today, winning for the first time in a long time, we have Mr. Disruptor himself, Steve Trang. Congratulations, Steve. Way to bring it home. We're proud of you. At least 75% of the panel is. I'm looking at you, Leon, who's clearly he's plotting my demise right now. I can see it.
Leon, I think this was, like you said, an Alabama handshake deal. It was 100% an Alabama handshake deal.
Leon's thinking of all those serial killer shows he's been watching and how to apply it.
Leon, maybe next time we'll answer the right questions.
Hey, Leon's trying to start out my Dateline episode over here. He's getting going. All right, we're gonna go ahead and say bye to the people. It's been an awesome episode. Go ahead and we'll do outros. Start us off, Steve.
Fun show as always. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Raphael, for being a hero. 15 minutes left. Hey, Raphael, can you do this? He's like, yes, let me clear my calendar. I got you, right? So we got to get a cape for Raphael. But yeah, thank you all for watching. It was a fun show. It's always better. It's always better with a victory.
And Steve's allowed to say that 3 times annually.
Yes,
all right.
Thank you.
Leon, go ahead and say bye to the people.
Always great to be on the show. I missed a couple of weeks there, so good to be back. Raphael, good to have you. Thanks for coming in last minute. It was a great show. There's one thing, I usually don't talk much self-promotion, but since Stratton is getting it in today, he inspired me.
Choice of words.
The market right now, as we know, is normalized, and something that we're really working on for our December event for Collective Genius. Follow us on social media. We've got some big announcements for our December event. The market and where it's going, December looking into 2024 is going to be a big deal. So wanted to make sure I got that out there. So great time as always. Good to see you guys. Hopefully see you next week.
Beautiful. Don't forget to use affiliate code G for Leon G Barnes right there.
That's the G in CG. How about that?
That's right. He is the G.
He's
all right. Raphael, say bye to the people.
Well, thank you very much for the invite. I'm excited, and it's one of the funnest. I feel like shows that I've been on. So good crowd. I couldn't say no. Love you, Steve. I got you. Aside from that, man, great conversation. I love the energy in the room, and and hopefully it was of massive value. People want to follow me out there, you can do so online or on the line. I'm pretty active on IG at Rafael Cortez CEO. So thank you all.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. I'll make sure that you get an invite back so you can go ahead and whoop Strap Daddy over there. Give him an Alabama handshake. All right, Stratton.
Yeah, I'll bring my comb too.
There you go. Yeah, so I saw him going ahead and cleaning that up right there.
I'm losing my edges, bro. It's freaking me out. But that's
I lost my edges back in 04, man. You're good.
Yeah,
Go ahead and say
28.
go ahead and say bye to the people, Stratton.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. 2 weeks in a row. Potter robbed me 2 weeks in a row, but you know what? I take responsibility. And do not forget, if you guys want to invest in real estate, shoot me a DM. Right? We put in offers on $30 million worth of real estate in the last month that we're looking to buy. This is not a fund. Shoot me a text. I'd love to talk to you about it. And if you need virtual assistance of any kind, virtualhelp.io. We don't really do a lot of cold calling, but if you need leads managers, we got you. Ops people, we got you. And again, guys, thank you so much for bringing me on again. It's been awesome.
So I don't mind getting sued, but SEC Strat Daddy, if you need his cell phone, it was earlier in the episode. Leave me out of this.
Go ahead. We'll post just that as the clip from this week. Just that. Just the Strat Daddy's cell phone.
We are all independent parties.
We are all independent parties.
Where I'm not affiliated with Stratton Brown.
I didn't plug any single deals. I didn't say what it is. I was like, if you just want to learn about investing, I'm your guy.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I heard an IRR on that. I don't know. Maybe it's questionable at best. We'll edit it out.
Possible. You can bleep that out. You can bleep out the IRR. That's fine. We don't guarantee returns. But besides that, hit me up.
Yo, I told you guys this one was going to be a fun one. Great as always, chopping it up with you guys. Really appreciate you spending an hour, and of course, to our audience, thank you for spending your Thursday afternoon with us. We really appreciate it. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one.